Canned chicken. This is going into a chicken pizza crust, which if you guys haven't seen our review video for Real Good Pizzas, linked above. A lot of feedback on that review was you guys need to make this crust for us, so we have a recipe for chicken crust. And last night we got to working. It took a couple tries, but we finally got it right. Using this 100% natural canned chicken breast. And now I've never bought this before, but Mega eats this like on the daily. So I went to the store trying to find this stuff, and she gave me the instructions of get chicken breast chunk style in water. So that's what I got here. I got to looking at the ingredients, and a lot of them have either maltodextrin or dextrin in the ingredient list. This does have rice starch in it, but that's about as good as I could find for canned chicken. So just check the back and make sure you're not getting maltodextrin or dextrin. And this is 0 net carbs per serving, 5 servings in here. This, we're gonna use it all for this crust. This is 10 ounces. Then we got some freshly grated Parmesan cheese, 1 ounce. That's all you need for the crust, and an egg. You're gonna need an egg also. And the key is getting this as dry as you can. We have the oven preheating to 350 degrees, and we are going to bake this to dry it out first for, I think, about 10 minutes. This is gross, I know, but you gotta do it if you want delicious chicken pizza crust. Oh, fun fact, guys. Last night, Mega drained this chicken, the chicken out, and she drank the juice from it. That's what kind of an animal I live with. So you really want to like press it down there and get as much water out as you can. For those of you that are like deep in the keto pizza game, you got your cauliflower crust, right? Fathead crust, the classic. And you now have our deep dish crust, which you probably saw. We released it a couple weeks ago, linked above. Check that one out. But this one, honestly, if you're going nutritionally, like this is the lowest carb and maybe the tastiest of all 4 of them. So give this one a try, because you're looking at basically 0 net carb pizza crust. Delicious chicken, just plop it down. We have the silicone mat. I would recommend getting this. We'll link it below. You can use parchment paper if you don't have it, but these come in so much handy all the time. I would just get one. So the goal here is just to dry it out. So we're gonna just spread it onto the baking tray. I like to break up the chunks a little, just flatten it out, get a nice thin flat layer. Oven's preheating to 350. We're gonna throw it in for 10 minutes just to get it dry. Okay, we'll be back in time, putting it in the oven. Chicken crust is partially done. Now we got the chicken baked off there. Dry, pretty dry. Doesn't have to be super dry, but you want it a little drier than it comes out of the can. So this baked at 350 for 10 minutes. Now we're cranking the oven up to 500, and we are gonna form the crust. Then we're gonna bake the crust. Then we're gonna top it and bake it again. So now we're gonna form the crust. Now you're gonna wanna have a piece of parchment paper ready for flattening the crust out. So we got the chicken here. You can see it's pretty dry. And we are going to add that to this mixing bowl. Now we got 1 ounce of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. I'm going to add that in. It'll melt a little, which I think helps for forming the crust. And we're also going to add an egg in. Now if you guys want to add seasonings to the crust, this is the time you do it. We are going to go basic right here. We're not going to add any seasonings. The chicken in the can is pretty salty and flavorful, and the Parmesan cheese is pretty salty, so I would like caution any additional salt, but you can definitely go garlic, oregano would be good, like, you know, typical pizza flavors. Maybe some red pepper flakes. Now you just stir this together, and you put it on the silicone mat. Is it silicone or silicone? Can someone tell me? Silicone, right?
No, silicone.
Silicone?
Silicone's like in breast implants. Silicone is like Silicon Valley.
Okay. We're going to flatten it out a little bit with a fork. Then we pop the parchment paper on. You get a rolling pin or Trader Joe's sea salt shaker, and you roll it out a little. I'm going to keep this one a little thicker than usual. I want to see how that works. The thinner you get it, it'll be nice and crispy, but we're going to try making this one a little thicker. Now this is what I like to do, totally optional, is get a spatula and you kind of press the edges up a little to maybe form it into more of a circle. And we are going to go breakfast pizza, so we're cracking eggs onto this, so it might be nice to have like a little ridge on the outside, just so the eggs don't go wild, which I think there's a decent chance happens to us. So there it is. We're going to bake this 500 degrees for 10 minutes. And the crust will crisp up nice. If you see here, this is a pretty thick crust. You can easily get this crust to fill up basically this whole pan if you want to. If you want a super thin crust, that's a cool way to go too if you just want to focus more on the toppings. We're going to throw this in the oven, 10 minutes, 500 degrees. Check it out. This looks incredible. 10 minutes at 500 degrees, and that is a nice solid crust. But it also can do another 8 minutes in the oven with the toppings on, which is what you're looking for. This is the perfect doneness you want. So if you make yours thinner, cut down the cook time by like a couple minutes. Yesterday we did a really thin one, and I think we baked it at 500 degrees for like 6 minutes. Now we're going to top this breakfast style. And I think, do we want to go cheese first? Let's go cheese first. Actually, I'm going to go most of the cheese, but I'll save a little to top it with too. So we got a quarter cup of mozzarella cheese. We got our Bob Evans breakfast sausage down on the farm. Now this sausage is pre-cooked. You have to cook it because it's not going to have enough time in the oven to cook fully from raw, so you can't really do that. Then we're going to crack an egg, which could get a little dicey here. So let's see. Just going to go right in the middle. Stay.
Good girl.
Now I am going to hit it with the rest of the cheese. I want to get some on top of the egg there. We got some chives if you want to get fancy, and we do. Then let's just take it to Italy. Get a little olive oil on top. Get your fat in, guys. Put this in the oven for 6 to 10 minutes at 500. And we got a breakfast pizza, chicken crust. What's up, y'all? Check that out. Oh my gosh, the olive oil was really bubbling up in there at 500 degrees. For 8 minutes we cooked it. We're going to get some pictures of this real quick, and then we'll be back to taste test. So stay tuned. We'll be back like right now probably. It's over, guys. The great pizza debate just ended with this right here. Look at that. That's incredible. This has to be our go-to pizza crust. Check this out. Look how firm that is. I'm holding it at the very edge of it. That's how firm the crust is. Come here. You hear that? This is a crispy crust. If you flatten this out even more, you can get a super, like, New York, is it New York style? Thin crust? Yeah. So I'm going to just try this. I want to try the crust first. Come on, guys. Do we have to eat other foods ever again? And let me just blow your guys' mind real quick when I read the nutrition off to you. The chicken crust that you see here, 338 calories, 1 carb, 12 fat, 55 protein. 1 carb, 1 net carb. So it is very high protein though. That's why we went olive oil and like some fatty toppings. This whole pizza here, you know, good sized pizza. You're happy with that, right? 840 calories, 57 fat, 79 protein. Wait for it. You guys ready? Is everyone ready? 2 net carbs for this. All of the other pizzas are much higher net carbs and not as tasty. It's pretty much in the bag with this pizza. Now I'm going to actually dig in to see how the breakfast pizza portion of this is. Bob Evans does sausage right. That's a really good pizza. I like the breakfast angle on this one. I can't recommend this crust enough though, guys. This is my favorite pizza crust of them all. Clear winner in my mind too. The nutrition is so much better. It's incredible. Mega, you trying it?
Yeah, of course.